It ain't even tea time.
Skinny Hardaway, Southern T, and I'm back. And with this video, I ain't gonna waste no time. I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna get right into it. Now, as everybody know, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder were scheduled to fight July 24th of this month, which is next week. About 10 days. About 10 days away. But Tyson Fury, news broke a couple of days ago, and I reported it on my page. I did a live stream about it, and I reported on my page that Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury's camp, right? Tyson Fury and Tyson Fury's camp, right, had an outbreak of COVID. But did you guys notice how we don't know any particular member that has COVID? Like, no one has came out and said in particular that they have COVID. So as fans, all we could do is speculate. So let's let the speculation begin. Because if I know anything, what the AJ Fury situation taught me is don't always believe the media at what they say, at first time, at first heat. But I just wanted to bring something to your attention, and I can let you make your own decision. So this is originally how we all found out, that Tyson Fury had COVID. And we also found out when Tyson Fury had COVID that he would be, flying back to his home country. You know what I mean? Fury likely to return to England following the fight postponement. Tyson Fury is likely to return to legally and ultimately come back to the United States for camp when when the time is right. Sources said multiple people in Tyson Fury's camp have tested positive for COVID-19. People say that multiple people in Tyson Fury's camp has tested positive for COVID-19. Now, what I got from ESPN and Mike Carpenter right then and there, what they told us is they told us three things. Fury had COVID in there. They told us Fury would be returning, to his home country, and he'll be returning back, after the COVID is, all good. Now, I got some questions for you, too. Now, just from my knowledge, from my understanding, when you get COVID, you're not allowed to fly because you could put in danger other people. Now they said that the whole camp has it. Now, the camp consists of Tyson Fury. These are the sparring partners now. Tyson Fury, F.A. Jogba, and Jared Big Baby Anderson. Now, if you have COVID, you can't be around other people. You're more than likely, going to be, sick, fatigued, stuff like that. COVID has its effects, but you can't be around other people because you'll spread it. So that means if Tyson Fury and his camp had an outbreak of COVID, they were also training at the UFC gym. The UFC fight, the UFC card last Saturday still went on. All those guys were training at the same gym, as Tyson Fury. And I'm gonna get into it a little deeper. The ESPN and Michael Carpenter just told you, that Tyson Fury planning on heading back to his home country. Again, you cannot fly with the COVID disease. So one, how is Fury going to get to his his home country? How is he going to get there? How is he going to get on the plane? How is he going to get off the plane? How is that going to work? But I don't want to answer to that question yet. I want you to hold it. Now again, I just told you, Tyson Fury, F.A. Jogba, Joseph Parker, and Big Baby Jerry Anderson are Tyson Fury's sparring partner. Tyson Fury had ESPN told you Tyson Fury is getting on the plane. So let's just listen to ESPN. Let's listen to ESPN this time, and let's believe that Tyson Fury is on the plane. So if Tyson Fury is on the plane, my guess is that he doesn't have COVID. But let me take you to this next picture. Here we have a picture of Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker is also one of Tyson Fury's sparring partners for this camp. Again, Joseph Parker, Jared Big Baby Anderson, and F.A. Jogba are in Tyson Fury's camp. It was reported that his camp had an outbreak of COVID. Now Joseph Parker was seen, the next night, the night after, at the UFC event. So if Joseph Parker is at this UFC event, around thousands and thousands of people, Joseph Parker himself could not have COVID. So if Tyson Fury is getting on the plane, Joseph Parker is at the UFC event, you know, with the UFC event taking place with thousands of fans in attendance, on top of Joseph Parker and Tyson Fury and F.A. Jogba and Jerry Anderson all training at the UFC gym headquarters that same weekend. He had been training at the UFC headquarters for his fight with Deontay Wilder. So that means that Tyson Fury and his team has been around that whole facility. So how, with them being around the whole facility, how was there not an outbreak in the MMA world? How does Joseph Parker not have COVID? And how is Joseph Parker able to go to this event with all of these people if Joseph Parker has COVID? Joseph Parker looked healthy to me in this picture. He looked like he's doing just fine. That doesn't look like a man with COVID to me. But I digress. Let's keep going. So now we got ESPN and Mike Coppinger telling you that, Tyson Fury hopped on the plane. If you hopping on the plane, you can't have COVID. If you have COVID, you can't be in a group of people like you see Joseph Parker is, right now at this UFC event. If you had COVID, why don't we know anybody else, with COVID? Why hasn't anybody else been reported to have COVID? You know, Joseph Parker looks perfectly fine in this picture to me, and my guess is he is perfectly fine because he's at this UFC event, just like the rest of the fighters at this UFC event are fine because there wasn't an outbreak of COVID at the Tyson Fury camp, which was training at the UFC gym. But let me take you to this other picture. I showed you Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker doesn't have COVID because he's at this MMA event. Tyson Fury doesn't have COVID because he's on the plane. But let's take a look at this next picture. Here we got Jerry Anderson, another guy who was in the camp helping Tyson Fury train for this upcoming fight against Wilder that's going down in a couple weeks. Here we see him, back in his hometown, taking a jog and running miles. As you can see in the tweet, he says the fight was pushed back. The fight was pushed back. Oh fucking well, we working city to city. So Jerry Anderson is still training. When you have COVID, the thing is, it makes your body weak. You're not going to be able to train. That's the reason why Fury had to push the fight back, right? Because he won't be able to train. He won't have the energy to train. The COVID is a lot on your body, right? Well, we saw one of his sparring partners at the UFC event, and we see Big Baby, and we see Big Baby Jerry Anderson here walking in his city, running miles. So he's doing just fine. That doesn't look like a guy that has COVID to me. So you got Tyson Fury hopping on the plane after he has COVID. You got all the MMA fighters still going on with their fights after a COVID outbreak at Tyson Fury's camp. Tyson Fury's camp was held at the UFC MMA gym. You got Jerry Parker. I mean, I say Jerry Parker. You got Joe Parker at the UFC event around thousands and thousands of people. So he doesn't have COVID. And you got Big Baby back in Texas, looking fine, looking healthy, looking in shape, running laps right after his quote-unquote COVID outbreak. So we have eliminated 2 of 3 of Fury's sparring partners with having this COVID. Does Tyson Fury even have COVID with him hopping on this plane? Does Joseph Parker have COVID with him being at the MMA event? Was there ever any COVID outbreak with the MMA event not being canceled, the next day? Big baby Jerry Anderson is doing just fine. Now there were rumors that Jerry Anderson was beating up Tyson Fury in training camp. That probably had something to do with why, Tyson Fury came up with this COVID thing all of a sudden. So there's one rumor, that Fury has been getting beat up in sparring camp, and then it's a picture, it's pictures out of Tyson Fury, looking pretty beat up, at sparring camp. There was a pushback about that. So I think there's a lot of reasons why Tyson Fury, had to push this fight back. I think there was a lot of reasons why Tyson Fury never wanted this fight to begin with by going to mediation arbitration. But this story that they're going to continue to feed us about this COVID thing. I believe that this COVID thing is all full of crap because you can't hop on a plane with COVID. You can't attend mixed martial arts events with COVID. With COVID, and I don't know anybody with COVID who was still outside running around, jogging, getting their workout in, getting their workouts in, which is why that they had to push the fight back anyway because Tyson Fury had COVID and he can't work out and prepare for Deontay Wilder. So I feel like at this point, if you're still believing mainstream media about this Deontay Wilder situation, it's just because you want to and you like being misled. I mean, you could be naive and just listen to what people tell you, just listen to what the media tell you, or you could do your own homework and try to make sense of this stuff on your own. You know what I mean? It's like common sense. Like the person is smart. People are stupid. I need everybody to go out there and do your own individual work and really see and really dig into this stuff that they're telling you. You know what I mean? But Tyson Fury says they said Tyson Fury had COVID, but he got COVID and hopped right on the plane. Kind of just like TOD. They report he had COVID and he hopped right on the plane and went to Italy. I need to figure out the planes that they got at top rank why they fighters are able to fly, with COVID and nobody else in the world is able to. But Fury hopped on the plane. Joseph Parker went to the MMA fight the next night. The MMA fighters doing just fine because they still put the card on, and Tyson Fury was training out of the MMA gym. You got Big Baby Anderson, taking jogs in his city. He's doing just fine. So who is the person that's reported to have COVID in Fury's camp? They said Fury got it, but he clearly don't get it because he's still making moves. But I'm just saying, man, it's up to you to make your own decisions, do your own research and everything. But I gave you that. You could do what you want with it. Skinny Hardaway, Southern T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. But this the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.